Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Malone.
This Walsh.
Very, very rare Saturday pod.
Yeah, we got to get raw and dirty here. Do a Saturday pod. It's only one game tomorrow, and it shouldn't be competitive. We had a little scheduling conflicts this weekend, or this week for Monday.
Yeah.
Big slate, a lot of games today, a lot of action. How you doing, baby?
So many games. I'm so tired.
So many games.
So many goals. So many leaks that were insignificant. It was just, what a day. What a time to be alive. Should we live stream on Friday like normal, or should we do like Saturday?
Oh, because
all the games, Gameweek 38 Saturday.
No. Fuck Saturday. We do Friday.
Fuck Saturday. Yeah,
we don't do shit on Saturday
on a holy day like Saturday.
No, that's a family day.
Yeah.
I want to go over that. We haven't really fully debriefed about password leak. How we managed that.
Oh my God.
Because I was fucking freaking out when I saw, I saw the teams. I was like, oh, good. And then I went back to bed and I thought like, wait, let me just make sure like Alon did the things. And I saw and I was like, oh, he didn't do the thing.
Left it completely untouched. Like if I didn't wake up at all, you would have never known because I didn't touch a single thing.
And do you know the thing that fucking fucked me up so bad in my head was I was thinking back when we were taking like logic in 4th grade with Mrs. Torrance.
Wow, I have no recollection of that at all.
With S. Hines, and
I remember like loosely being in a room with you
because I was sitting there. Because I was like typing it out, so it made sense, and I had to retype it a few times. So basically, I was not waking up for leaks.
You have to explain what you're talking about, because no one knows what the hell you're talking about.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting excited. This isn't going to be a typical pod listener, fucking sit back and relax.
Yes.
I gave Alon was waking up for leaks. I was not waking up for leaks. Obviously, I had leak important business to take care of with Diash, Gvard, Kevin, all the things, right? So I basically was priming Alon with a series of if...
A flowchart
of like if X, then Y.
Yes.
So I had to come up with like, they were just logic basically, because I was coming up with all of these different scenarios, and I was thinking back to then when that's like, we did that shit with them in 4th grade.
Absolutely.
That shit. 100%. And it was just like, if you have a red and blue popsicle and they have a green popsicle, what color could they not have if you have two? I'm like typing out, I'm like PTSD.
Basically,
like,
you've been preparing for this moment your entire life is what you're trying to say.
And I fucked it. And
the scenario that happened was not. I wasn't prepared. There was no. This is what Walsh gave me. If Walker's starting, just put him in for Diash. Doesn't matter if Diash is starting or not. Okay. If Diash and
hang on. If this is what I sent you like 10 messages.
Yes. There's a bunch of messages. Basically, there's a bunch of if Walker's in. And so we can just skip all those because that was one of the only leaks was Walker's not in.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so what do I do if Walker's not in? If Walker isn't starting, float the transfer. In this scenario, if Gvard is starting and Diash is bench Diash for White, keep Gvard in the 11. If Diash is starting and Gvard is bench both for White and Gabrielle. But there's no scenario of like, Walker isn't starting. Gvard confirmed is starting. Diash, no confirmation whatsoever. No idea.
So this is the thing where I
could have made the leap.
That's the thing. It's like there was a leap to be taken. It was an extra. But like if you're presupposing that I put in if Ruben is starting and Gvard is, it's like basically I don't give a shit. Whatever happens, don't start Rube. Is what I was saying, essentially. Yeah. But I didn't give the specific scenario of both of them starting.
I think the confusing part for me was also if Gvard is starting and Diash is benched, bench Diash for White and keep Gvard in. And all I knew was Gvard is starting, and I did not know what Diash. There's no confirmation.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that if the opposite is true, Diash is starting, then you want him to start. Do you know what I mean? And so I was like, since I don't know.
But I had the thing that said if neither of them are starting, or if like bench both of them, right?
But I knew Gvard was starting.
Yeah.
And there's no Diash leak.
Crazy.
So it was just like threaded. The leak just threaded. They're reading our messages.
It's fucking killed me, man.
It's so stupid.
And he got a queen. So you're a god.
Easy fucking game. Easy
queen.
Game. As usual, FPL is best played by doing fucking nothing. Literally, no one should ever make a transfer. Just hold your guys, and they just get points. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Because like I saw because I opened my eyes. I think it was like 4. Yeah. So it was like 30 minutes after the team sheets, but like before the game was starting.
Right.
And I just saw the team sheet for City. Like I went on my score app to see the team. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, so I have Guard and like White. And I was like, oh yeah, great. But then I like went back to bed. I put my head back and I was like, okay, I have a half an hour. And then like 10 minutes later of me like just my mind racing, I was like, I have to check this.
Yeah. Like, do I have White?
And then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I thought I said this thing, and then I went back like a
blood
fucking
is
spastic.
boiling.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a fucking melter.
So good.
I melted it all. Oh my goodness.
It was funny. Yeah, it was good. But the leaks ended up, it changed nothing for me. It changed nothing for you. It was just like, whatever, bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really weird to be recording on a Saturday when, the games were this morning. We have some points, and I have a lot of minus points from my 12. Do you want to start? Should I start? I honestly...
You start. You had more fun.
I'm not being funny here. I genuinely don't remember my moves. We're going to do this live. As soon as the games were over... Well, not even the games were over. I didn't even watch a second of Chelsea NFO. I left, went to Queens, spent the day out, went to the Mets game. Yeah, I fucking checked out. So we're live streaming my moves here. So I took out Dom, Elliot Anderson. Well, that's already fucking. Yeah, that's like Mr. 14 Anderson. Points. Elliot 8-pointer, Dom 6-pointer, 14.
Yeah,
and then 0-0-0 for Udogs Van Heck Neto. I brought in Hoyland, Rodri, Van de Ven, Trips, and Petrovic.
Yep.
So as of now, it's a minus 11 if I'm doing my math right. But I obviously still have a million games to go with the guys I brought in.
You should come out, maybe like plus 5-ish.
Yeah, I think it basically won't matter, as most things at the end of the season don't matter. Yeah. I obviously knew that Gvard was the best to get. All live stream was us just being like, get Gvardiol to every single person that was on the thing. But I just punted. I just was like, fuck it. My season basically doesn't matter. I was like 120K. Now I'm 170K. Literally no difference between the two. So, and my keepers, great keepers. Both get 2 saves. No clean. My ideal scenario.
This is a post-mortem we could not have possibly read the Vicario situation worse. I don't know what happened.
1, 2, 3. Wasn't there a pod when we were like, he gets save points, blah, blah, blah. And then one of us or both of us opened his page and we're like, actually, does he get save points? I kind of remember doing that and being like, well, not really.
It's just been a really, looking at his saves total over the course of the season, where it feels like they just went through different, almost like eras of playing, where in the beginning of the season, he was getting averaging basically a save point a game. Yeah. And then in the middle of the season, he just kind of was averaging just a hair under a save point a game with a couple of little spikes and some oddities. But most recently, they're not he's not making any fucking saves. They're just suppressing shots and doing nothing and not creating.
And
the
they haven't created all year,
is
but, less than nothing.
It's small. It's very small.
Yeah. He is just some hell of a pick. And, the one game he gets 8 saves against Liverpool, he concedes fucking 4.
Yeah,
and gets
7
destroyed.
or whatever. Yeah. So he gets 2 points.
Yeah, so it's just all wash anyway. Yeah, I mean they're man, we could talk about them for fucking days, I think. Yeah. But yeah, your team, I mean 55. So top 10K average is 56.5, elite team average is 55.8. So you're right there. You're basically on a gray arrow. Obviously you have Gvardiol. I think you're in pretty good shape here, but for both of us not capping Haaland, that game is the first game that happens, and then we just both get fucking nothing. It's so disappointing.
Since time immemorial. I mean, not even owning Haaland, I got away with it last week because everyone else did all the things, and then, the first game finishes up with him on 2 and missing a sitter, and I'm just like licking my lips, like, oh my god, this is real. Time to profiteer with the home BHA game, and then Ishak is just worst performance I've seen him in months.
Yeah, I think he had like that one chance that was saved.
And it wasn't even, it was almost like a half chance.
I don't really remember that much else. Yeah.
But, I floated, so I have 2 I'm fucking the year of the float. Queen. I'm a float merchant this year. I have 2 frees, and I'm a pretty other than Haaland, like template-y around. Like, I did Mo to Gordon Pisshair, and I thought he played. He was their best player by a lot.
Points. Also, absolutely should have got points.
He was their best player by a lot today. They were terrible. By and large, the team Newcastle's performance
well.
Today,
I thought second half, but first half they were really fucking bad.
Yeah, they were in it second half, but also, they weren't doing the things. So I expect Mo to just make that. Punish me, but I did that with the intent of
just. He still has Man United though, so he still has a bottom 3 defense on his fixture list. So that's why you got him.
Yeah. Who knows what happens in that fixture? But my plan was to get Mo back for 38, and after watching my team play the Wolverines today, holy fucking shit! I am gonna get Mo, and not even that's 1,000,000% unless he gets injured and I might captain him.
Yeah,
but I had. A Gvard, and then the rest were just like kind of whatever's, just kind of made up the numbers and I didn't realize how many teams were bench boosting. Like I didn't realize it seems like it's half the teams are bench boosting.
What's your guess? Elite teams. So these teams basically all do the same thing and circle jerk in the same discords.
70%?
83%.
83, yeah. So
and top 10K 82.9%.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
actually
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm not like a million miles away from the bench boost teams with just what I have.
You're literally on the same points.
Yeah. And they're gonna have some Arsenal players, which is gonna probably tip it, but it's just the bench boost is the stupidest thing. All the chips are so fucking stupid because essentially you're plus or minusing such a small amount no matter when you use them, and it's just a distraction. So
and that's the thing, right? I brought this up last episode, and then Palace do what they did today, and I was sort of taking the piss last episode, but I was like, free hit 34 went really well, but we all got baited because we didn't just transfer in our Palace players permanently. We just got them for one game week and then reverted to our old teams. And meanwhile, the right thing to do was take a -12 and get a Mateta, Eze, and Elise, and we all would have fucking flown and done better. It's just like,
or you
free
just,
hit, you have this isolated window, you pick all the best picks for 1 week, and then you have none of them.
Yeah. Or you just plan, you know that's coming, and you just get them in earlier and you just have them. Yeah. Like me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good. Yeah. Who do you have? You have Munoz and Mateta.
I just have, I don't have a mid, but Munoz, I could talk, talking about something for days.
Oh.
It's actually astonishing when he does not return.
Yeah.
It makes no sense that there's ever a game that he does not return.
We don't do the scouting videos anymore, but he would be a really fun one. Because
we wouldn't even
know.
People don't realize.
People don't realize
he's a fucking striker. He's playing striker. He's not even a winger. He's not a wing back. He is playing actual second striker, support striker. Yeah. He's in the box on set pieces. He isn't just on the wing. He wins the ball back so high. Yeah. It's crazy how many times he just by himself, where like he'll just take the ball off the center back or the fullback because he's up so high. And when we're progressing, his engine is so high. He's a fucking
and he had that monster chance. Yeah,
he has a monster chance every game. And if he doesn't have a monster chance every game, the ball skims by his toe and he misses it for the monster chance every game. Like it's unbelievable. This guy, unbelievable. Like he's actual. There's no price next year that is too high. Who do you guys
have in 38?
It's crazy. We have Villa. Yeah.
Wish it was a little better and I would just bring him in. Fuck it.
Yeah. He's insane, dude. He's just so fucking good. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Who's in your Game Week 1 team right now? I mean, I'm getting really post-mortem-y, but we're just, we're vibing.
Munoz is the only actual 1,000,000%. There's nothing other than him being injured. There's nothing that could happen between now and then that he's not in the team.
Yeah, because realistically, even if he gets a price hike, it's 0.5.
5, don't care.
That's max. There's no way he's more than 5.
We're not buying in that position. I don't care if we lose one of the 3 attack. Like nothing's going to affect it profoundly. Yeah. So he's a billion. There's no question. He's 1,000,000,000% in.
I would say
2 other Palace players are also 1,000,000% in. It's just
I was going to say like it, obviously price matters so much in this game, but like if Elise and Eze are there, I don't know what they're going to be priced, but I feel like at least one of them is for sure going to be in my team. Like it's hard for me to imagine that they're both like, how much can they really go up? They're not going to be fucking 8.
No, I mean, I think Elise is difficult because his numbers are 10-5 mid, I think. Yeah. Like that is
from when he plays, he's there.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, I think he should probably be 8-5, but more realistically, I expect him to be 7 or 7-5.
Yeah, the way I think about it is sort of like in a Martinelli kind of way. Like, right, he has this breakout, almost 200-point season. He's on this team in the league, comes in Game Week 1 8.0. There's no way that they can make Elise and Eze more than that, I feel like.
Well, I mean, there are also, I think, a lot more differences with Martinelli. Like, Martinelli played 3,000 minutes, and he's on an actual title-contending team. Like, Elise is on a mid, like, around 10th place team, and he only played 1,000 minutes, so there's a lot more at risk. So it's just, I mean, it's obviously a little bit aggravating if we have the conversation, we're talking about it, but one of them goes and then everything changes. But, I mean, I don't think more than 7-5 is going to happen, even if I think that's wrong. So Elise, Eze, and Mateta, to me, all of them are going to be 7-5 at the most, and more likely maybe 0.5 or a little bit less than that.
Can you think of a recent example? Because I'm kind of scanning mids, and I can't really think of one of someone who played, say, sub 1,500 minutes, but is like highest point scorer in the game when they play. Like I can't. Yeah. No. There's no one immediately that comes to mind for me. I'm trying to sort it, but
I'm sure there are some small sample size things where someone did it for, but the difference is that it's not like a flash in the pan. He's just taking a step forward, and he happened to have several bad injuries. So the extrapolation isn't like he's going to regress. It's just like, he might just get better. Like he could get better than this. Totally. This might not be, I mean, to me, it reminds me more of like Mahrez, right? Like the Mahrez season where he did it for 3,000 minutes, but all of a sudden it's like, oh no, this is one of the best attackers in the league, period. Yeah. And, the sample size was larger, but, he went from, I think that was like the 5-5 to 8-5 or something, or 9.
Yeah. I don't know what it was huge price tag. And then, immediate transfer to Man City, as you expect. As
he's want to do. And this could be the exact same.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it's the exact same situation.
Absolutely. I guess there was kind of maybe this is a good example, just going through some mids right now, is like Kulu, his first year, when he just came up for half a season, and he was just like, he just returns every fucking game.
It was Bruno. Insane. Bruno also had that, right, when he arrived for the half season.
And Kulu went from 6-0 to 8-0 in just a 1,200 minute, like, masterclass.
Yeah.
And Bruno, what did he do? He went from 8-0 to 10-5.
Yeah. I mean, to me, honestly, and it's difficult.
So like minimum 2 million is what we're looking at, probably.
Yeah, and they did the thing this year where they made Holland fit 14 or whatever, and everyone else was cheap, and they want you to be able to get everyone in the game because it's fun, blah 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 blah. But to me, just more realistically, Elise, Eze, and Mateta, based on the third of a season or little under third of a season under Glasner, they're all 8-5 picks, and I don't think any of them are going to be 8-5.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
They're all going to be underpriced.
I'm a little lower on Mateta than you are, but I completely agree with Munoz, Elise, and Eze.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else nailed in the Game Week 1 team before we move on? I mean, I'm just talking out loud. I mean, like,
no.
I think you can not nailed, but like you can talk about like Bumo, Wissa, depending on where Tony is.
There's too many variables.
Too much context. Too much context.
The I mean, honestly, like Palmer is the closest, I think.
West Ham 4-5 keeper or 4-5 defender with Lopetegui coming in is like very high on my list.
Yeah, that's very high. I mean, there are 4-5 defenders on teams that I could see like it's likely that it's going to be from, I'm going to have one probably Trent-ish pick, and then 4 or 5 defenders from these 7 teams. Or something, maybe Munoz or whatever. Or maybe it's just 5, maybe it's Munoz and all shitters, but Palmer is close to there. I mean, I don't know if it matters what the price is. 10-5, like I don't know if
he should be minimum 10, you would think.
Yeah. Because to me next year is...
So he's going to go from 5 million to 10?
Yeah, I mean he should be 10-5 easily.
Oh my god,
he should easily be 10-5.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean to me also with that, I mean I feel like with Game Week 1 I'm gonna have Holland, and I'm just gonna be a lot more like not captaining him a lot more aggressively.
Yeah, depending on the fixtures.
Yeah, but I mean unless if they have 4 really tough fixtures in the first 6 or something where I'll swerve him, but I'll probably. But other than Holland, I mean, if you're looking at Game Week 1 of where you're going to spend your money, you have the Arsenal players. There will be several options there, but there's no chance I'm having Mo. There's literally 0% chance Mo's in the Game Week 1 team.
Ridiculous. There's a big chance I have him. Yeah, I don't know what you're even talking about.
Dude, when there's a new manager coming in, like, I don't want to be the first to the well, especially after we see, all the things that are going on. I just don't feel like I'm spending, 12-5 on Mo next year, Game Week 1. I just can't imagine that.
I could absolutely imagine that. I mean, it's the biggest reason of anything that I started so well this season. It's just like, just get the guaranteed best pick. Yeah, and he was for 20 game weeks.
But it's like the turmoil of having a new manager.
Might fuck it up. He might not even be there.
Yeah, he might not be there. He's also, unlike Palmer, who might have higher ceiling, Mo's just going to get worse. He's on the wrong side of age.
He's going to get worse at some point, but I don't know when. I mean.
Yeah, so I mean that's where I'm looking at, like, where am I going to spend my money?
Yeah.
Palmer seems like he's front of the queue behind Holland, and so we'll see. I mean, Kevin, we don't know what he's going to be up to. I fetishize over him, but no. Other than Munoz plus 2 Palace,
there's not that many. Not that many.
Wide open. Yeah, it's wide open. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, roughly the same. I mentioned like I'm interested in West Ham defenders, keepers because of Lopetegui. I mentioned to you in Discord today, like, I have Brighton on my mind just because I still like De Zerbi and I still like a lot of their best players who basically have played half a season or less.
Way less.
Yeah, like it ranges from half a season to a fucking 10th of the season with like March. So it's like Ferguson, Pedro, March, Matoma, Estupinian, all of them. Even like Bart.
Did March play a 10th of the season? He played fucking 6 games. Yeah, 10th.
Yeah, right. Crazy. So even like someone like Bart, I'm like, he could be 4-5 and Steele could just be like fucked off. I mean, Bart has basically taken the job and been like, I'm 80% of the time a starter, right? Like all of these guys, I'm like, I expect a bounce back from Brighton.
Fulham also an interesting one.
Fulham are interesting. Yep. I mean, especially Muniz, like what's his price?
I mean,
that's a really interesting one.
Yeah, that's we're sucking too much juice out of our post-morteming here, I think.
We're just, I think, teasing it. But yeah, we don't have to fully go in it. We don't have that many questions.
The 4-5 defenders, we're so fucking perverted over 4-5 defenders. That's all
But we're also so good at picking them.
We're so good at it. That's why we obsess over it. It's all we're good at.
Yeah.
I can't do anything else.
About something else.
Yeah, goalkeeper. Bad.
Find something
real
else.
Bad. Yeah, real bad at goalkeeper.
Well, so what should be... This is a good one because all we have left is Friday My Life on Thursday, live stream on Friday, post-mortem on Monday, the next Monday after Gameweek 38, post-mortem on the following Thursday, done for the summer. So what should be our homework for the post-mortem? What should we prep? Are you just going to do your notes the same way you did it last year?
Well, that is how I've been prepping, but I'm also was more aware of the fact of, how much of what we talk about is like if they don't get someone in the market, or if they do, like where it's like almost unreasonable or unrealistic to expect, like, Fulham defense is like all dependent on if they have Paulinho or something. And it's like, I don't know. Like it's fucking, we're doing it in May. We have no idea what Fabrizio is going to get paid to tweet about, Paulinho and that kind of shit. So those are the kind of things where I was like, okay, trying to pull away from that. But I mean, to me, the post-mortem points are more to talk about a little bit of like learnings from the season, but also is putting out like what we are expecting and doing it before the echo chambers start and all the content machines start, and everyone gets all the things where everyone's sucking each other's dick and everyone's a sheep.
Yeah. I mean, I do really think there's value in that. I think that, the Fulham one is an interesting example because it's like useless, but also useful in the sense of like you're setting a prior of being like, if so-and-so's 4-5, they're going to be in my team unless they lose their DM. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, I already envision like Muniz versus DCL. Like that's a bloodbath for which one of the two of those two I will have as my third forward. I don't know right now, but I know it will be one of them. Yeah. And, they're going to both be either 6 or 6'5", and like there's a pick there. And both of them are picks, most likely. But it's like, where's the coin going to fall, or what are the fixtures going to be, and like that kind of thing, Yep.
Yeah. And some lessons also are just carryovers. It's like, look at the top two keepers. It's fucking Pickford and Leno.
Yeah. It's Deitch and Burnt.
Easy.
Always has been.
Always has been.
And it's like back to the other old shit where it's like Arsenal defense by every metric, measurable, eye test, numbers, best defense in the league by a lot. All their defenders are going to get enormous price hikes. They're going to be cheapest will be 6 million. No, thank you. Like
cheapest will be 6 million and not nailed.
Yeah,
because it's going to be the left back.
Yeah, I don't want any part of any of it, and like I just know that now, like that's going to be the case, and they're going to have 3 cleanable fixtures in the first 5 with 2 home bankers,
and everyone's going to wedge like 2 of them in.
Like okay, cool. Like I'm going to have 4 or 5 guys, and I'm going to do the other thing. But we'll cross that bridge as
I'm
it
excited
arrives.
for post-mortem. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Anything else on Palace?
It's the one thing I will say is I don't fucking care about penalties. Olise is so much of a better pick than Eze. Like it's not close. It's just not close. It's not actually not close.
Yeah.
The last time we really did more deep dives in Palace, I think it's been a while, but when Olise hasn't been fit or relevant mostly all year, but last year what we were talking about and what we saw out of him when he was playing, he played a lot of minutes. We had White, even when we were vibing and scoring all these points, like he was getting so many assists. He was playing so wide, and he just doesn't do that at all anymore. Like he comes inside and he's playing forward, and we're countering and he's fluid and he's free. And like Mateta is doing a little more like Dom-ish, Solanke-ish like kind of role where, sometimes he's holding up and then he's not even in the fucking picture of the attack. And Eze doesn't have the killer incisiveness. He's like more of like, I want to slow things down. And Olise just does the fucking fast thing, and he gets the huge chances. And, Eze does get huge chances, but if you have to pick one of the two, we would have to get a lot of pens for that, I think, to overwhelm.
I want both. My answer is both. Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would get there. Like, it would depend on the landscape of the pricing with Mateta. But I mean, they're both just incredible options. But Olise particularly is like hitting levels that are just like, holy shit. He could have had 5 returns today. Yeah. Like, well, he's also
3.5 years younger, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
That's why it's like, he's probably going to go to Man City, and Eze could have a Wilf career and just be Palace's best player for the next 5 years. And like, that's possible.
Fine. Yeah.
It's like a different tier, but both of them are just taking an enormous leap. I mean, even Eze, his like total numbers don't look that much better, but like, he's going from 2.39 shots per 90 to 3.52. Well, like, he's just like catapulting.
I mean, the thing with Eze is I don't really feel like he's hitting a new level. I just feel like the team plays differently, so he can express more. Olise, I think, is different, where it's like he's hitting a new level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Eze's level is obviously extraordinarily high. He's fucking phenomenal player.
Yeah,
he's
so
incredible. But Olise is I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect this from when I was watching him, the last couple seasons at Palace, like that. I mean, he could be this, and it's fucked. Like, he's fucked.
It's like, I'm no expert in this, but double pivot and other people talk about the difference in age so much, and I just thought of this because the other day someone was like, talking about Dewsbury Hall, and they were like, like, he's just being a better Matto that, for Leicester than what Matto was doing in the flamp. And it's like, but Matto was the best player in the championship when he was 20, and Dewsbury Hall's 25. So, like, comparing those two, like, it's not even close. Like, the level of prospect.
Sure.
Matto has 5 more years of Premier League development before he's the same age. And you look at the flamp, back when Olise was there, before Palace bought him, his breakout year, he was 18.
Yeah.
Just tearing up the league. Absolutely fucking destroying the league.
Yeah.
He comes over, kind of a slow start, promising, getting injured a little bit. He had a really nice 2022, more injuries, and then now it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. There's a world-class player there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Palace,
exciting.
It's exciting.
What about Gvardiol?
Is he Joel Ward's staying. So Gvard, I mean, another one, right, where we're watching
insane
Pep persist no matter what. This center back will be my left back and or left winger, depending on the game state and the context of the enemy.
Yep.
And he looked really bad at doing that job for months. And now he looks like he's an unplayable god.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. Like, I don't know how that happens. And
Pep is just built different, dude. It's fucking crazy that he does this. He does this every year. He does something every year. And then the final third or less of the season, he's like, oh, this is what I've been imagining. Yeah, and it all comes together. We win every game.
Today I was having this similar type of epiphany with Kovacic, where like he was basically
he was great today. He was great.
He was non-functioning all year, and he was kind of in and out of the team. And every time you play, I'm just like, holy shit, you're a mess. Like you're in the wrong place, you're playing the wrong ball, you're like the worst player on the pitch every time I'm seeing you. And today is just holy shit. Like, he had a few loose passes. You get the ball that much, you're going to do that. But I mean, he was just moving things along and covering and progressing and dribbling and getting into like, I was like, oh my God, like this is we liked the Kovacic move in the off season, and it was so emphatically he didn't fucking he's not playing all the year.
It just didn't work at first. It was just everything that we were imagining as a couch manager that we are. We're just like, oh, this could work, this could happen, and none of it happened.
But it's like we're in the last couple of games, and it's just like, oh, second season Gavard? Like, okay.
Fucking first season Gavard.
Well, yeah, but it's like 8 games or whatever.
If
I'm looking to next year, it's like second season, like Kovacic is never going to be picked.
That's another like funny price thing, right? Like before this run, so what did he started at 5, right?
Yeah.
He came in at 5. He was down to 4.8 for most of the season.
Time. Yeah.
And before, game week 33, I think he would have come in at 5 again. If the season ended at game week 33, he would have been 5.
$1,000,000%. Absolutely.
And then these 6 to 7 game weeks, minimum. 5. I mean, he could be 6.
I don't think so.
He's ending the season on goal, assist, brace.
Yeah,
and with 2 more games.
No, I know. I just don't think the clean sheets are there, and the nailedness is there for him to come in at 6. I think 5.5 is probably likely. But
if he continues this for the 2 more games, which there's no reason really not to, is Spurs and West Ham. Like, I don't know.
But dude, they didn't have a 6. They didn't have a 6 million defender in the game this year
because they had no players with any attacking intent.
Yeah,
right. Like if they had Cancelo, he would have been 6'5". Yeah, the Stones. Like if they had Cancelo, he would have been 6'5" this year.
Yeah. I mean, we're nitpicking, 5.56. We'll see what it is, but
I don't know. Yeah, I said, is Gavard a cap shout for 38? Sure.
Come on.
Why not? Who cares?
Dude, Bowen's gonna post his life away.
Bowen in the post. Yeah, he's all about the post. But yeah, I mean, is Gavard a cap shout? I mean, just braced. It's pretty good. Braced and clean.
The first goal, like
that was unreal.
The thing that was so fucking crazy about it to me, and I think I watched it probably like 7 or 8 times.
I was laughing.
The defender played him correctly.
Yeah.
And he's just like, watch this. I'm going to go in on my right. And it's like, what the fuck?
Blow like right by you haven't slot it.
Yeah, he's like, you've not done that once all year. And then all of a sudden he just like accelerates and bursts on his right. And he kept doing that. It's just like, what do they, like, what is Pepino doing with them?
I know.
Where all of a sudden he unlocks this. It's like,
it is it's really like, I was thinking with Pep, it's just crazy.
Like, if you could, they have like that question where it's like, if you could have dinner with 3 people, like dead or alive, like, and it's just, I just want to have dinner with Pep. Like, I don't want 2 more people. I just want him now for like 2.5 hours. I just want to talk to him, dude.
I know, it's wild.
He's the best. He's the best.
Mooney of, City coverage.
Yeah, who I think is a fucking blowhard. Few people have I heard that talk so much and say so little than that gentleman.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
that's a, not to throw the whole kingdom under the bus, but that's, there's a reason FMLFPL started and it's related. But Mooney tweeted that one good thing was he's a center back playing out of position at left back, playing 1-2s on the edge of the box and finishing with his wrong foot. It's just like none of that makes sense. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, he can certainly watch what's happening and then report the actions.
Yeah, he can do it minute by minute.
Yeah, but if Neil asks him a question, he's not
going to answer it
because it's too complicated.
He'll bring up like pausa and pause and spend the whole time talking about that. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
You always beware of the person who answers the question he wants to have been asked.
This is another post-mortem tease because I think a theme all season, but maybe all decade, is just like, what actual value
since the beginning of the pod?
Like what actual value do we get from talking to fans of the teams? Because it might be. No, I don't know if there's. I think it's a lot. I don't think it is. I'm turning into a non-believer.
The actual sauce is so important, but there are certain, we've been listening to Coach Homan Friday show on Anfield Rap for actual decade, and there are some correspondents or fans who have they know football as far as I can tell from listening to someone talk about football.
For those who don't know, these are the Anfield Rap shows where they bring on fans of other teams who usually like write articles or have a pod on their respective team and just get interviewed basically about their the game previous on the Coach Home and their upcoming game on the Friday show. Yeah.
And like you have it, and it's difficult because, you know, we don't watch every Luton game. We don't watch every Wolves or Brighton game, right? We can't. And, you know, Neil has this way of asking the most poignant and important questions. And because he's watching, you know, 15 minutes of every Brighton game every week or whatever, and he's so brilliant that he knows where and what and who. But it's up to the correspondent to take the question and actually inform us about what's happening. And some of them do that exceptionally well. And some of them just make jokes and talk about some surface level nonsense.
And most people just use like idioms and just say like, well, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. And like and you know, I think it takes, like, to me anyway, it took years to like decipher and discern, you know, what the conversation and what's happening. But like if Neil's asking a question and the listener is saying like, oh, that's a good question, then the listener's fucking stupid. Like
they're not ready.
If the NFO guy doesn't know every up, down, sideways move that NFO has, and Neil is asking an NFO specific question to this guy, and he's like not ready or unprepared to answer the question, he doesn't know his team, he's a fucking moron, you know, by and large.
So but maybe like, that's my problem. Because a lot of teams, I feel like don't have a representative that I feel that way about. I feel good about it.
But look at like Natalie Bromley. Like,
I mean, she's incredible. She's like arguably the best. She's fucking unreal.
But look at it, right? Like she's talking about the goalkeeper in November.
Yep.
And she's so plugged into the rhythm, the tactics, the backup DM, like the fullback, the transfer, where they're having a very, you know, level conversation. And it's like, like this, it's like lapping it up.
It's fucking nectar. Like if you're into football, it's like the best thing ever to listen to.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, and I think it is like, you know, those are the exceptions to the rule. Like the rule is more just like people have their little jokes and their charisma and they do the things and then they don't really say anything. And, you know, that's a lot of podcasters, and, you know, it's just tough to figure out which ones are, you know, But I like, even if they're in that way, like the Brighton guy that they have, I think he's a fucking idiot.
Oh,
he just has this annoying accent and he doesn't talk about anything.
Nothing.
He just talks about shit that happened fucking 15 years ago and how good Brighton are now. It's ridiculous.
15 years. He talks about like fucking
40
cups in the
years.
70s.
I don't even know.
Like,
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But like he gives you at least little bits of like what the fan pulse is, and like even that I could take away from. And but like the West Ham guy they have, like he's also like a old person, and I don't think he's that, like he doesn't know the name of every player on every team like we do, but he knows West Ham, like he knows if like Moyes and like how everyone's feeling and so it's like, you know, you could still do that, right?
It definitely paints the teams and the matches that we're anticipating with some color. Like it definitely makes me more engaged in watching the games and following the teams and following the players and like things to watch. But FPL is like so hyper specific that we would literally have the only way that like we would have gotten some say Guardiola as a example, right? Like we can watch him and just be like, oh my god, this guy's in the box, and do our own homework. But we would have needed some fucking tactical 5D Pep level guy to be like, once Kova starts playing the double pivot and blah blah blah, like Vard's gonna be the fifth attacker and the best pick, you know, like, and that rarely happens that we actually get something that's like,
but that doesn't exist.
That guy's a pick, you know, or like that guy's.
But that level of source doesn't exist. Like,
I want it.
Well, we have it though, because it is just watching, being like, if he keeps doing this, then until otherwise, that's a pick, you know.
So basically what I'm saying is I want someone to pay me to watch every match, and I'll watch every match, because there's 5 games at least that I barely see every week. It's just not possible to watch. Yeah. And I'm not getting anything from the highlights in those games. You ever watch highlights of games you've seen? Like sometimes I just, I'm like running all the highlights or whatever.
I don't think I ever have once.
I do it all the time because I'm kind of running it without looking. Like I'm typing on my other monitor and the highlights are going. It shows nothing. It shows nothing. Like
and they repeat the same play 4 times.
Fulham, yeah, exactly. Fulham had one shot. Like when you break down the stats, it's like they barely even fucking played against Man City today. It was not a fucking game. Yeah. But if you watched,
they were
great.
Yeah.
They were arguably better first half, or at least first 30. They were very competitive, very good. They don't show a single second of Fulham.
Yeah.
No. Because there's too many City goals. There's too much action.
That's the thing too, where like today I had this, like today, the Bournemouth-Brenham game, I didn't watch 1 second of it live, and I watched the extendeds for 12 minutes. And, I saw the stats, and I looked at, when people scored and what the subs were. Like, I had that working knowledge. But, I was watching the highlights to just kind of get a sense of, like, who was in front. Because that's really all you can get from highlights. And, it was very clearly Bournemouth the whole time until the 85th minute,
and 3 and the game, goals rolled out or something.
Yeah. And then the game goes upside down. So it's like, from that standpoint, like, because I'm watching that game looking at like, well, I want to know what Bournemouth look like because they have an important fixture next week, right? They're playing at Stamford Bridge. And then I want to know what Brenham look like because they're going home to play Newcastle. Yeah. And like, I'm not that interested to learn about like, oh, I know, Keane Lewis Potter is fucking dog shit and he's starting and that sucks for them. Like, and I know that, Dom is going to do that. Like, but I want to know more of like who's beached, who's running, who's doing the bits and, to kind of take it into next week. So, I mean, to that end, like the highlights and, the feel around the club and like all of that stuff. Like I do feel like getting the, popping on the fan forum of just like the West Ham one where it's just like, we are the worst team in the country and we hate everyone and where, where George Earthy, like where George Earthy stands now or whatever.
Oh my God.
Where it's just like, this is a dilapidated mess. And Luton, just by the fact of them having such actually horrendous footballers that aren't Premier League level, they can't capitalize on this even when they go up 1-0 early, right? And so I think there are those times though from the FPL standpoint, right?
There are times,
because we are good enough at looking at the specifics where like I feel like getting
or
the more
at least taking what is available and turning it into FPL.
Yeah,
we're like converting information into how does this apply to FPL?
Yeah,
that's
but
like
these
our
kinds
job.
of but these club related like more like back off kind of things of like what's going on at Everton, like that'll tip us from being like at Goodison fixture, like a clean or something where I feel like that's relevant, and where it's a really small edge that might have us like, oh, I'm going to just bench this defender that week because like they had 2 bad losses. They were playing really hard.
Vibes are bad.
Like I can see that they're fit. Like I think the clean's maybe a little more tenuous than on paper, like the green or red number on my fucking FPL page is telling me what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Let's wrap it up. Well, just a couple Game Week 38 questions, I guess, even though it's kind of stupid. There's 5 more games this week. But Luke said, need some very early, very rogue ball shouts for Game Week 38. I mean,
are you going on a fucking trip to the Arctic?
I don't know how early he needs to be. But
we have
apparently
a week
it's very early. Yeah.
Very early.
Mo?
I mean, Mo is very loud and obvious. It's kind of difficult to tip an Arsenal player because I don't think I've really come across a team that hasn't had 3 Arsenal players in them already, right?
The wildcard teams don't, I think, but
they have room.
I don't think they have an attacker like they maybe have Gab or something. But I mean, Everton's defense is really good, also. So maybe it's not that good,
It should be more or less though of a kind of a coronation.
Yeah.
For the silver medal, I guess, but
yeah.
I mean, in terms of the exploitable fixtures, obviously we're talking about Arsenal, Everton. I mean, Liverpool Wolves is, along with City Western, I think those are just the three loudest ones, right?
Yeah, as usual, the best three teams all year. Yeah.
Yeah. And they happen to have three home bankers all at once. And, City, similar to Arsenal, I've seen like everyone has three of them. Liverpool, I think, is a lot tougher though. So, we have Mo, who's a fucking fortune, and players probably can't just single swap them in, assuming, nearly everyone only has one transfer.
Yeah.
Where are you at on like
I think Diaz is very, very viable. I mean, he is nailed. Like the myth of him like not being nailed is just like, completely wrong. I mean,
doesn't get that many points.
Yeah, I mean, he does and he doesn't. He's not like brace potential, but he regularly returns. So
if you want to get a mid who might get you a clean sheet, get Diaz.
I mean, he has double-digit hauls, but more likely than not is probably like a one return. I think that's pretty fair. Unless Liverpool go absolutely crazy, which is possible, and they could score 5. So
sure,
that's in the mix. But I also think Spurs is obviously exploitable, but sort of in a similar way. With Rich out, Timo out, it's gonna be the same front three. I mean, Matto, like it's like who am I getting? I don't even know. Aside from Son. Poro, maybe, and bangers, VDV bangers. I don't know.
I'm still, I mean, it's a tricky one because, Sheffield, they'll be so happy to be there, but I also think that they'll be happy to be there and also get absolutely fucked like 5-0. I just like don't think Spurs can do that to anybody like right now. I mean,
I think they played a lot better than the final score today. I was pretty impressed. I mean, they basically manhandled this team. I mean, I know Burnley had like 2 chances on the counter. Other than that, it was just good chances repeatedly for Spurs. Matto, big chance. Romero, big chance. Brennan had like 3 big chances. Son was more creator than goal scorer today, but like he should have had a minimum of like 2 assists.
But that also, why would that change? Like Rich isn't playing, so who's like they have really bad finishers everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a one game week thing, But I guess you just want to look at like you're talking about the Sheffield. But I mean, I think I'd rather buy Chelsea tickets than Spurs tickets. Honestly, they're home. Bournemouth are just fucking doing the things. They'll probably just be running up and down. And,
I mean, everyone has Palmer. Most people have Ndot.
Yeah,
but I would rather buy a Spurs.
I'd rather buy like Gakpo or
Madueke. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Like I'd put Diaz. There is no non-Sun Spurs player I'd put over basically anyone in the game at this point. Like that's I think where I'm looking.
It's probably
at,
right. It's probably right. Yeah. And it's just kind of like a damp squib a little bit because there's just no reason to buy from any other team.
Yeah,
we've named the 4 or 5 teams. There's no one else.
Yeah.
No one else has a home banker like they do, and no one else is as good as any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly. I mean, because it's like, I'm sitting here with Gordon, Isak, and it's like, I have to really come to terms with like, how do I expect that game at Brenham to go? Like, is that going to be free flowing and open, or is it going to be a tough one because they want to do the things at home for the game?
Yeah. Is Newcastle going to take the lead? Because then I think they'll score 4. Or are they going to go behind? Because then it's going to be a 1-1 struggle.
Or is it going to be 0-0 at half, which is basically them going behind? And
yeah.
The Palace Villa fixture is really difficult. And I think we haven't seen Villa play this week, and we don't know who's available. But Villa are still like really injured. I mean, I think Emmy's supposed to be back, which is not great because Olsen was good last week, but he's fucking terrible. But I mean, their midfield, if McGinn's going to be there, Doug. Like, I mean, they're mostly fit. Yeah, they're mostly fit, but they're going to be playing on a little bit of a short turnaround, right? Or no, they're playing Monday. No, it's a normal.
No, they're
week.
Out. They're eliminated already from
Monday,
Europa.
Sunday. They're out Thursday. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, that might just be like a. But that's the other thing. That game is like Spurs, it could be up and down.
Yeah, like so. What's the scheduling? So Villa play on Monday.
No games matter.
Let's just say they don't. Let's just say they don't win, and then let's just imagine a world where Spurs win because that would be the only way that this game matters. It would mean that they're both on 37 games and Spurs are 1 point behind Villa. So that would be like the one scenario where I'm like, I don't feel as good about Palace because Villa's going to feel like they really need to win.
Yeah.
Or they might not finish fourth.
Yeah.
But like that involves Spurs being City, which is a fucking 5%er. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do any other questions, I think, on Thursday. There's still so much to go, in this game week.
Yeah. That sounds good.
One ass to slap. Tristan Cox, welcome. Slap your ass. Get on there, baby.
Thanks, Tristan.
Any last words, dude?
I'll see you not tomorrow. I'll see you in a while, baby.
I'll see you in a while. See you Thursday.
All right.
Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL, sportspager.com/FMLFPL. Subscribe, rate, review. Cheers.